All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to our Touchdown Friday playoff preview. I'm joined here by Brian Bailey, our sports director, for week 2 of high school football.
Round 2, ready to go.
We are ready to go. We had a great first week, my first high school football week last week for Touchdown Thursday. Hopefully, weather permitting, we're going to have a Touchdown Friday this week.
We hope so. Touchdown Thursday is not the same as Touchdown Friday. Week 2 of the playoffs. It'll be fun.
All right, so diving into it, we've got a lot of big matchups. Moving forward, we're going to start Western Alamance is at Havelock, number 2 tonight, the Rams. Havelock grabbed a great win last week. They shut out North Brunswick 33-0. That was actually their 50th playoff win, which I thought was really cool.
And Havelock's one of those staples in Eastern North Carolina, first-year coach, but they've kept, they keep right on winning as far as that goes. They had a couple of bumps in the roads this season, but still a number 2 seed, and you get the feeling they're going to take care of business at home in this first game.
As you can see on the screen, the weather last week was absolutely crazy. They were one of the only teams that actually played on Friday, which I thought was pretty interesting. We had Sam out there.
Yeah, that was the win over North Brunswick, and that was a kind of a controversy because they couldn't figure out when to play the game, so they had to play on Friday or Friday night, and that was, as you said, one of the only games played on Friday night, probably the only one in our area.
Yeah.
And the weather was not that good.
All right, next one we've got number 2 Edenton. John A. Holmes is hosting North Stanley, number 7. So Edenton is coming in. Both teams I thought was interesting. I was looking back in the past. They were both cut short in their playoffs last year to Tarboro. North Stanley in the 3rd week and Edenton in the 4th week. What do you think about that?
Well, it's probably going to be the same thing as far as most of those teams up against the Tarboro Vikings, but that's the matchup we all hope to see down the line in a couple of weeks is Tarboro and Edenton. They both had great seasons all year. Tarboro is just and we'll talk about them in just a few minutes, but Edenton's had a great season. They play a tough schedule and they ran through undefeated, so we look for both of those teams to get through coming up tonight.
Yeah, exciting game up in Edenton. I'll be headed up there, watch the Aces play the Comets. So next on our line, we've got Rosewood for the 1A and the number 1 seed playing number 8, South Creek.
Yeah, South Creek, we'll have to try to really pull out all the stops in this game. Rosewood is loaded as always, another one of those staples in Eastern North Carolina, one of the smaller schools, but they're very good, very talented, and as a number 1 seed, you expect them to get through in this second round.
Yeah, so another big game. Number 3, Pamlico County will be playing number 6, Gates County, which is interesting. I don't know too much about the team, so what are you thinking?
Well, Pamlico got off to a little bit of a slow start this year, but the Hurricanes have bounced back nicely, and they're the higher seed. A lot of times in these playoff games, you get into the postseason, and the home teams, you have to favor the home teams because they're seeded higher, and that's why they're playing at home. But you got to think Pamlico, they're really good, especially at home.
Yeah, so moving down the line, number 2, we've got pretty much all of our higher seeds in. North Edgecombe is playing Washington County.
Washington County, of course, the former Plymouth High School, and they didn't have a Plymouth-type season this year, but they're still into the second round of the playoffs. And you look at North Edgecombe, the Orange Crush from way back with Raymond Cobb back in the day, but they always have a good program there, and they're into the second round, and they're looking to make a long run.
All right, now we got number 1, Tarboro, our Touchdown Friday number 1, pretty much the entire season. It was every week,
the
correct?
Entire
yes.
season. Yes, it was.
They are going to be at home. They're 11-0 heading into this game. They're playing number 9, Hobton, who's 8-4, but they've got a big matchup tonight.
If you're going to go to this game, you need to get there early and be there when it starts because Tarboro will score early and they will score often. They're just a juggernaut in Eastern North Carolina. I said it a little while ago, I can't wait to see Edenton and Tarboro if they both make it, which I think they will. That'll be a great matchup. But Tarboro, the odds-on favorites to go all the way and win another state championship.
Awesome. All right, next we have West Cravens coming in at number 4, playing Red Springs, which is a number 5. So this is a pretty even matchup, so to speak. West Craven coming in 9-3, and Red Springs 9-2. What do you think about this?
Well, West Craven won the Eastern Carolina 2A conference. They lost to North Lenore in that conference, but they bounced back and they've knocked off the Washington Pam Pack to win that conference championship. Clay Jordan Field will be fired up in Vanceboro. Mike Twitchell and company, they do a great job as far as what they do at West Craven. And they had a big win to end the season over New Bern. The Bears are the top seed in the East in 4A play. So you got to like Mike Twitchell's chances in this game and for West Craven to continue on.
Wes Craven has definitely had one heck of a season. They beat Kinston, some of the video you're seeing right now, in the week 1, but I was there when they won their conference matchup. I know we talked about it last week, and they're having a great season.
Yes, most certainly.
All right, next we have number 2, Southwest Edgecombe is playing Whiteville, number 7.
That's going to be a good game. Whiteville was loaded. They played really well last week. Southwest Edgecombe, their only loss was to the Tarboro Vikings in the function at the Junction.
Yeah.
But Southwest Edgecombe is another one of those teams that really hopes to make a long run in this postseason. But this will be a big test. I think this will be a close game.
All right, number 1 in the 2 AA football pairings, we have Randleman versus number 9, East Duplin.
East Duplin is, a perennial power as far as the playoffs go in Eastern North Carolina. Didn't have the best of seasons this year. That's why they're on the road, and they will have a tough test at Randleman. Randleman is very good, as you would think, with the top seed.
All right, now heading down the line, we've got number 2, Washington. The Pan Pack is playing number 7, Salisbury, at home in Washington.
Salisbury coming up, and Washington in the Pan. This is another one of those matchups. The North Carolina High School Athletic Association trying to seed everybody, and what's East and what's West. Because I would think Salisbury would be in the West, but they're making that long trip to Washington tonight, so that'll be a long trip for them. And they face a Pan Pack team that can certainly run the football, and I think John Blank and company look to advance in this one.
All right, in the 3A, we have number 3, Eastern Alamance playing number 6, Northside Jacksonville. Northside Jacksonville coming in. They're a great team. I know we talked about it. They've got a great guy who's going to UNC. So this will be a big matchup for Northside Jacksonville.
Yeah, and Northside Jacksonville had some huge wins this year. And this is one of those road games, road teams that I think has a real chance to pull off a little bit. And it wouldn't be that big of an upset, a 6 against a 3. But Northside Jacksonville has had a really, really good season this year. And I think they could pull that upset there.
Mm-hmm. So moving on, we've got another local team, number 4, D.H. Conley, who beat out Rose last week in another crazy game, is playing number 5, Cleveland.
At D.H. Conley, and that's a rematch from last year in the playoffs, and Cleveland knocked off Conley. So Conley trying to get some revenge. This will be a high-scoring game, I think. I think the team that plays the best defense will win it. Last week, D.H. Conley at home at the Hollywood Crossroads, and they really played one of their best games of the season last week in besting J.H. Rose by the final of 35-7. The Conley Vikings can score with anybody if they can play some defense. Last week the defense threw a shutout. The only touchdown for Rose came here on this Michael Allen touchdown on the kickoff return. So, the rest of the game was a shutout for the Conley defense. If they throw another shutout like that, obviously they will win. But I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair, and whoever does play the D in this game will win it.
Yes. So our final game we have for this week that we'll be featuring is number 1, New Bern. Of course, 92 coming in is playing number 8, 71st, who is 7-5 on the season.
71st didn't have a 71st type year, but 71st can play some football. It's a tough league down there in Fayetteville. New Bern will be favored in this game. Troy Now has done such a great job with the Bears, and they've really just really played well all season long. Upset in their season finale, but they've played some really good football with Coach Now in his first year, and we hope the Bears can advance.
All right, that will do it for our Week 2 of the Touchdown Friday playoff preview. Be sure to tune in on Friday to Touchdown Friday.